Hiya VC, yes, back again with yet another vinyl Wodge. Yeah, no highfalutin theories and critique this time, just more records that I've bought. And this is the 60th video I've done of this lot. Good grief, absolutely unbelievable. Right, so without further ado, let's get going. Where did I get these ones? So, this lot, yes, I got this lot from last time I was in London, which was a couple of months ago now, I think. Shows how just ridiculous. From my favourite hunting grounds in Palmer's Green and North Finchley. Did alright actually. Got some really good records. Couple of records I've been looking at getting or hoping to pick up copies of for a little while, but more on that later. Right, so we'll start off with a couple of, well, a few country albums. This first one is a great album. I really enjoy listening to this. I've listened to it 2 or 3 times now. This is Commander Cody and his Lost Planet Airmen. And this is Tales from the Ozone. I think this was released in 75. And it's good old rocking stuff. I mean, it's kind of a real, not a mishmash of genres, but there's definitely more rocky stuff and there's definitely more country stuff on it. I mean, it starts off with a great cover of Minnie the Moocher, which is absolutely superb. Things like honky tonk music, like, what's that say? Lightning Bar Blues, Cajun Baby. I mean, you know, you're getting that kind of, well, it would be called, I guess, Americana now. On Warner's. Yeah, Warner's with a label. And there's a back cover. But this is a stonking album. I'm definitely going to look out for more of his stuff. Commander Cody. Really enjoyed it. Right, there we go. That's the first one. The next one up is not quite so good. A while back, I managed to pick up, for a really good price, the first Asleep at the Wheel album, which is great, kind of bluegrass revival, I think. Is that right? I think so. So, I didn't actually read more about them because I didn't think I'd come across that many records, but I came across this one, Framed. And oh dear. I mean, it's okay, but to be honest, it's not that kind of the great sound they had on their debut and what I've now learnt to be on almost every other album except this one. Yeah, I mean, I've seen this. One of my favourite words. I love the word nadir, and apparently this is the nadir of Asleep at the Wheel's recording career. It's not. It's a lot of kind of 1940s kind of style pop. There's some jazzy stuff. There's a few country style songs on here. But overall, I mean, some of it is jazz funk. It strays into jazz funk. I mean, this was released, I think, in 1980. And I think it was their first release on MCA. And obviously somebody at the record company or somebody somewhere to do with the band thought, let's try and sell some records. And my God, really, please, stick to what you're good at. Certain bands can carry off genre hopping, but certain bands should stick to what they know, and this is one of them. And following this record, they did. So if you're going to pick up any Sleep at the Wheel album, it looks like, pick up any of them except this one. And I really enjoyed listening to this next one. This is 20 of the Best, Hank Locklin. Don't know much about him, just what's on the back of the liner notes. Born in 1918. I think this compilation concentrates on his earlier stuff, which is more, well, it's that 1950s, early 60s style of country, and it's really enjoyable. Songs are really good on this. Really enjoyed that. It was a great listen. There we go, 20 of the best, Hank Locklin. Right, shifting gears now. Right, 1980s pop. You know how much I love my 1980s pop. And you can't get much more poppy or fluffier than this one. Tracey Ullman, You Broke My Heart in 17 Places. I loved her singles when they came out. I think I was about, how old was I? 14, I guess. I thought her singles were brilliant off this. So you've got, there she is, you can tell what you're getting. Maybe one of the first retro pop big sellers, I don't know. But it's great. It's really good. Things like Breakaway, Move Over Darling, They Don't Know. Good cover of I'm Always Touched by Your Presence, Dear, the Blondie song. Move Over Darling was her biggest hit, and that got to number 2, taking Kirsty MacColl's song where it should have got in the first place. But every song's a cover, but they're really good performances on here. I really like this album. It's great. Just a good fun album. Love it. And this one I've been looking for a decent copy for ages, and I'm so glad I think I got this for £1 or £1.50 or something stupid. It's Kid Creole and the Coconuts, and this is Tropical Gangsters. And this is the one with the big hits on it. So you've got Annie, I'm Not Your Daddy, you've got I'm a Wonderful Thing, Baby, you've got Stool Pigeon, and I remember these really well. I think what was it, 82 this came out? Just really like this. I mean, I think it's got the inner sleeve as well, which is great. There we go. What label is it on? And it's on Z Records. I'll show the label for those people who love this. There you go. Just brilliant, brilliant pop. Just really added to the pop scene that year. You had some really good stuff going on in 82, and this was part of it. Just so varied. The scene in the pop, the charts in 82, 83, 81, well, early 80s were just so varied. I mean, alright, you still had the old tat hanging over from the tail end of the 70s, but there was just so much brilliant, brilliant pop music around. I'm so lucky my early teens were in such a golden era of pop music from America, Britain, everywhere, to be honest. Fantastic. And then right at the end, this one, next one, people might think, but it's Liza Minnelli, and this is Results. This is the album that basically is a Pet Shop Boys album, with Liza Minnelli singing the songs. Got the big hit, Losing My Mind on there, which actually works really well. But you've got 7 Pet Shop Boys songs on here, including a cover of Rent, which is quite gorgeous. It's an orchestral version of it. There's a cover of Twisting My Sobriety, which is quite, after listening to the Tanita Tikaram, or however you pronounce her name, Tikaram, I don't know, version with her deep, deep voice, it was quite a change listening to her version, but I reckon it's pretty good. But this is great. And I don't think this record had ever been played. It's got a bit dog-eared here and there. But when I had a look at it in the shop, because I always check the records, always, even for £1, it was still, there's so much static still on the, removing the record from the inner sleeve. It was like that, that suck that you get when you get a new record. Love that. But absolutely stupendous album. If you see this, I would definitely recommend picking this one up. Right, and then I went into a different shop, and for some reason somebody'd gone in, and they had a load of 21st century vinyl. Yay for 21st century vinyl! So I picked up some really recent stuff. Right, first off, I'll go with the 7-inch I picked up. This this is a band called Lucky Soul. And this is a song called My Brittle Heart. B-side is Give Me Love. Now this is, actually it's not that far removed from the Tracey Ullman album, to be honest. It's that mid-60s girl band sound, not really Blue-Eyed Soul, but it's that kind of retro sound that wouldn't have sounded out of place on the Tracey Ullman album, to be honest. I've read reviews of their album. I'm going to look out for their album because it sounds really good. Got really good reviews at the time, but did absolutely nothing. But from the sounds of this single, I'm definitely looking out for it because it's really good. And I really like the, so on the back, you've got to keep it in the plastic sleeve because it's kind of like a little tie and you get the record in there. I really like the packaging on that one. What's the record label? Oh, it's got a funny name, isn't it? Rougher Lane Records. That's a good little single. Really enjoyed listening to that. I've got to get that in there. There we go. Great stuff. Complete change. Right, this is a band called Snow White. Really, really rocky. This is really good. 10-inch single released in, I think it was 2005. Very, very plain labels, just the tracks on there. So the 4 tracks are Stop Anything, Attack Form, Walking Past 27 Pictures of an Ex-Girlfriend, and I Read Kissinger. But it's really noisy stuff. It's really good. Oh, I'll put that in later. Snow White, EP. Hasn't got a title, that one. Then I picked up a couple more, well, one I Am Ecstatic I picked up. Right, this one is a band called The Music. And they were from Leeds, and they formed, well, I think late 90s they formed, but they had a really brilliant debut album. And on that was Take the Long Road and Walk It, which is just such a fantastic song. And that was their first single release. This was their second. This is the You Might As Well Try to Fuck Me EP, which is a terrific song, not released on the first album. And in fact, all the songs on this are an absolute treat. You've got Karma, Treat Me Right On, and Too High, which is kind of more laid back, jammy sort of thing, but still brilliant. There is a slight warp to the record, but I'm sure that after being stored in my 12-inch boxes, that will get straightened out. But it plays really well. Absolutely gorgeous. This was released in 2001, just inside the 21st century, but it's such a joy to pick up 21st century records. Right, this one was a complete blind buy, and it was still sealed completely, never been opened. So this is a German band called Mitt, and this is Dinah Elton, which I don't know what it means. So I think they look really young. I mean, sort of late teens, early 20s there. And this is it's almost retro-futuristic, if you know what I mean. They sound like they're playing really heavy, well, sort of new wavy kind of punk. But then they've got really jarring synth patterns over the top of it. But it works a treat. Really good. That's the A side. So you've got Dinah Elton, Buchforst, and, excuse my pronunciation, 180 Stufen. Don't know what they mean, but it sounds great. And then the B-side tracks are remixes of a couple of tracks from the A-side, but they're much more dancey. Actually really good remixes, so it's a real record of two halves, this. But both sides are great, and I'm really going to hopefully pick up and see and pick up something else by this lot, because they're really good. Really impressed. Released in 2006, this one, on the Haute Ariel record label. Now you got the keyboard. I mean, it's really retro synthy stuff. I mean, they're using old synths on this. I don't know what synths they use, but they're old. You can tell by the sound they're making. Terrific stuff. And then the final record I put up in this lot is a band called Breed. And this is Violent Sentiment. Yeah, Violent Sentiment. Breed are probably best known, and I've forgotten his name completely. Is he on here? I've completely forgotten his name, but it's the not the here we go. Guitar, bass. Oh, come on, eyes. Time for glasses, I'm afraid. Steve Hewitt, who was the drummer for Placebo from 96 to 2007 or something like that. This was the band he was in before he joined Placebo, or rather between drumming on their demo, then he recorded with this lot, and then he joined Placebo later. This is a good album. Kind of, it's kind of hard to explain. It's quite rocky, but it's more like definitely indie rather than rock. It's I mean, if I say apparently they went on tour with Nick Cave at one point. That's probably a bigger signposter, but they're not quite as dark and gothy as our Mr. Cave. But a terrific listen, actually. Really recommend this album. This is their second album. This was released in '93. I'm not sure what the first album was called, but they never achieved anything, which is a shame because they're actually a really good band. Excellent. So there we go. Breed with Violent Sentiment. Violent Sentimental. Sorry, get the name right. So there we go. Another batch of records. Some terrific listens in there. I've really enjoyed listening to this lot. Absolutely marvellous. Cracking. Right, and with that, I will take my leave and wish you all the best. Everybody who watches this, everybody who subscribes, everybody who plays a single record once this month. Right, so take care everybody, and I'll see you later. Bye VC.